Hello there everyone, welcome to another video. Sorry it's been a while. I just need to take a break after the first week of the Skywalker Saga, and then I just think I decided to stop uploading, or I might have done it after the second or third. I just got burnt out of making content even though I didn't make much. The content I did make I did spend a long time on and it didn't get many views, so it discouraged me for a long time, but I have decided to come back with this video. This is things The Force Awakens did better than the Skywalker Saga, and I think The Force Awakens is a really great game. And a lot of people just don't like it because it's a sequel trilogy-based game. But I find the levels really fun. It uses the classic LEGO style, but still does unique stuff with it, which the Skywalker Saga doesn't do as much, which is fine. I don't hate that about the Skywalker Saga. I know a lot of people have a problem with it. But let's get into the list. So for the starters, I'm just getting the elephant in there out of the room in here. It does The Force Awakens a million times better than the Skywalker Saga does. Now some people will say the Skywalker Saga's version of the more simplified game was better, but it does cut out a lot of content. I didn't find it fun at all to play through, and Sagas is very short, and almost every level in the Skywalker Saga for the Force Awakens feels way inferior to the one in this game. Though this game does have really bad levels, such as the Resistance, where you just do nothing but side quest for a whole level. That was just padding in Skywalker Saga. I mean, it doesn't have any of the padding, but I don't think it captures any of the things overly well. The second thing I want to talk about is the DLC characters. Once again, a lot better in the Force Awakens. There's a lot more of them for the same price as the season pass, so that's one thing. And a lot of these characters are so much better, like Rex, Leia, all those people. And even though Skywalker Saga does have them in the main game, I do think The Force Awakens did it better. Now, for other things, I'm just going with designs of characters, and not completely just for The Force Awakens, such as Rey, and how she keeps her abilities. That's that's what my main point was. The design factor had to do with Kylo Ren and how he's designed in the Skywalker Saga switches from the Last Jedi design after he takes his helmet off, and his cape is inaccurate. But the abilities in The Force Awakens are much better. Characters don't forget abilities after they upgrade they don't switch classes, so they can keep their abilities. So Finn can always have the First Order panels, even though he's a Resistance member, because there's no character classes. And at the end, you get versions of the skin like Rey and Finn, who have the lightsaber, the gun, and they have all their abilities. They don't forget their scavenger ability, so when they become Jedis, they don't. And Finn doesn't forget his First Order or Resistance abilities when he gets the lightsaber. He just has all the abilities. And this game actually has Force Lightning that you can actually use, as shown here with Palpatine. I mean, it may not be the best in this game, but at least you can use it without using a combo. And it's really just an animation in the Skywalker Saga. Also worth noting, the Gonk droid is a million times better in the Skywalker Saga. Not Skywalker Saga, it's Force Awakens. Look at that beautiful design. It's true and classic. It's classic and true to the original, and this one in the Skywalker Saga is alright. But this one's a lot better and more accurate. It was based off in the Skywalker Saga, it was based off of the Bad Batch Lego set with Gonky, but still, Grey Gonk Supreme. Now, another thing that this game did better is the Microfighter System. In the Skywalker Saga, you can't unlock Microfighters, but what you can do with them in this game is you can fly them throughout the hub world. And you might say, oh, it's probably because these hub worlds are bigger. And they're really not. They're about the same size or even smaller than the Skywalker Saga, so I don't get why you can't fly the cool Microfighters around everywhere. You can unlock them, but you can only use them in outer space, which seems useless, because they're just way less cooler versions of the big ships. And it's really unfortunate, because they could have done this easily, I would assume, unless the engine didn't allow them to, which is very possible. Additionally, you can ride vehicles in this game that you can't ride in the Skywalker Saga, such as an AT-AT, of course a micro version, not the full version, race speeder bike, Luke's land speeder for all that. Well, you can ride Luke's land speeder, I believe, somewhere in Tatooine, but I have not encountered it yet, and I am around 70% through the game, but I also haven't been playing through Tatooine that much. It's the biggest. And it's really unfortunate, though. Like, you don't have all these speeder bikes in the Skywalker Saga, but you have them in the Force Awakens. And race speeder. That's one thing that really confused me in the Skywalker Saga. You use Canon Jarrus' speeder instead of race speeder in the Force Awakens segments. I'd really want to know the rationale behind that. Now, technically, the taxis is race speeder, but a color swap version. That's the same thing with Luke's land speeder, but it's really not the same. If you want to fly Luke's land speeder, you should be able to use Luke's land speeder. If you want to do race speeder, you could do race speeder. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure if you can use Luke's land speeder or not. I might be wrong, but that's what I just remember. And there's many other full-sized vehicles in here too. in the actual space mode, and space is so much better in The Force Awakens. The flight controls are amazing in The Force Awakens, and you actually feel like you're playing Battlefront or something. In Skywalker Saga, it feels like Star Wars Squadrons, which meant that it's a good thing. I did not like how Star Wars Squadrons handled at all. It felt weird, the physics were off, and that's what the Skywalker Saga feels like. It's not horrible by any means, but it just doesn't feel as good as The Force Awakens did in flight mode. And finally, of course, the customizer. I bet you guys all saw this one coming. This was an easy cop-out one, but you can make some pretty epic creations in the Star Wars, the Force Awakens customizer that you can't make in the Skywalker Saga, because there's none. Now, this is not the best customizer I've seen in LEGO games. That's obviously DC Supervillains, where you can change colors of pieces and all that, give your character special abilities. That is just amazing. And I was hoping for something like that in the Skywalker Saga, but I haven't really missed it too much, even though I thought I would. But in The Force Awakens, at least you can make whatever you want. Like, I'm making a droid bounty hunter right here, and it's just fun. I mean, it's not something that's usually a part of the game. And especially with Star Wars games, I don't really care about the customizer. With superhero games, I think that's best implemented in those, and these ones don't really need it. But it's just cool to have. The more features, the better, at least in some circumstances. And finally, the last reason is the class system in the Skywalker Saga. I do find it fun and cool that you can upgrade your characters and such, but it takes away abilities from characters that really should have certain things. Like, bounty hunters should have thermal detonators. They just don't have them in the Skywalker Saga. Now, if you do upgrade them, you do get shock detonators, which are kind of cool, but they're not the same. And it just sucks that characters are just so limited. Like, characters climb slower. Unless you're a scavenger, you can upgrade it and you can climb faster. Like, in this game, everyone climbs the same speed. There's no upgrades to fix that if it's too slow for you, but at least one group of characters that's maybe inferior, because no one really uses the scavengers unless they want to fly. And another thing is the jetpack. This is all part of the class systems, by the way. The jetpack is so nerfed in the Skywalker Saga just because the game is implemented around scavengers using jetpacks, so Boba Fett can fly for about a second. And in this game, as you'll be able to see in a minute, characters can fly for much longer than that, even though it's not the best in this game. It's still pretty good. I think the Complete Saga still did it the best. You could fly for a pretty long time. That you can do about 5 seconds in this game, and that's good. I was expecting that 1 to 2 seconds in the Skywalker Saga is a little weak. Once again, due to the class system, as you can upgrade the jetpack in scavengers, not for bounty hunters, because not all bounty hunters have it. That you can fly around, and that's it pretty much. The abilities associated with the class mode really downplay the game, in my opinion. But the game is still amazing, and I really want to stress that it is still an amazing game. I still love it, but there are some things that The Force Awakens did better.